Say morning, the 20th of January 2021. My name is Kenny Dorotilu.
My name is Dele Adeyanju. Thank you so much for joining us. I have here with me three newspapers. I have the Daily Post, I have the Punch newspaper, and I have the Guardian newspapers.
I have with me the Premium Times, the Nation newspaper, the Punch newspaper as well. So let's quickly take a delve into the Premium Times major headlines this morning. Pictures of northern governors with associate of banditry kingpin Turiji raise dust. Now that's a major one this morning. We'll take a look at that. Nnamdi Kanu's rights violated by Nigerian government. Court rules. Some story right there that had a lot of people talking yesterday. We'll take a look at that as well. Elsewhere, police clear Nigerian senator of adultery allegation, indict accusers. The pages of the Premium Times newspaper this morning. Electoral bill, Senate makes U-turn, includes other modes of primary elections. Guinea-Bissau versus Nigeria, of course, the results of that one with the Nigerian Super Eagles winning yesterday, massive one for them. IPOB, despite court order, Nnamdi Kanu attends trial in same clothes. Some of the headlines coming out of the Premium Times newspaper this morning. Let's move over to the Nation newspaper. How to improve female health care. That's one of the major stories out there this morning. Lagos acquires 2 speed trains from US for city service. Fire raises spare parts building in Lagos. Afeni Ferry decries kidnapping on Lagos-Ibadan expressway. Police arrest couple for attacking son's teacher with thugs. Ending the brain drain in Nigeria. That's also some other story you might want to look at. Leah Sharibu as a symbol. Finance Act, how key changes impact economy. Uniban row over hike in hostel fee. You can take a look at some of those stories coming out of the Nation newspaper this morning. Over to the Punch newspaper. U.S. Supreme Court rejects Trump's bid to block Capitol attack document release. Rice pyramids do not match up to reality. Bird flu outbreaks hit Kaduna poultry farms. Returning officer told me 2023 governorship results ready before election. That's coming from Olusegun Oshoba. Cooking gas demand surges over NLNG's 100% domestic supply. Electoral Act amendment. Senate bows to Buhari, includes census for party primaries. Fuel subsidy. NEC considers report today. TUC meets ASCSN, threatens lockdown. That's coming out of the Metro Plus pages of the Punch newspaper. Lagos domestic worker flees with 13.9 million naira cash jewelry 1 week after resumption. Nigeria passengers face hitches as airlines suspend U.S. flights over 5G rollout. Some of the stories coming out of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Right, I move to the Daily Post newspapers with this story. 2023 presidency, Ohandeze hails Ayem, Umahi, Task Ogwai, others. 2023 APC will not crash after Buhari's tenure. Governor Badaru. Police refute alleged relocation of bandit kingpin Bello Toji to Kwara. Also, FEC rail road infrastructure in FCT to go 56 billion naira. Minister Insecurity, block escape routes of fleeing terrorists, Senate charges military. Nigerians bash Tinubu for promising to pay students WAEC fees. Also, Hajj were working to ensure ban on Nigeria is lifted. Nakon to Muslims. Confusion trails fuel subsidy removal as National Assembly. Buhari's cabinet differ on policy. I move straight to the Guardian headlines here. Nigeria courts double-digit deficit financing amid fiscal indiscipline. Also, we don't fear Nigeria. Guinea-Bissau boasts. Actually, Nigeria won that match. President didn't order fuel subsidy removal. Lawan clarifies. Only 6 of Nigeria's offshore rigs operational as oil prices near $90. Reps probes AGF IGP's alleged involvement in Magodo invasion. Electoral bill. CSOs knock Senate over consensus option as National Assembly amends bill. And just finally here, federal government begins fact-finding on fuel subsidy removal. Those are headlines from the Guardian newspaper, and we get our analyst on phone this morning to contribute some of the headlines we'll be highlighting on the program today. That's Dr. Olu Ojedokun. Good morning, Dr. Ojedokun.
Oh, good morning. Top of the day to you.
Good morning. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. One of the stories making the rounds since yesterday is Asiwaju Tinubu's manifesto, if we can call it a manifesto, that he is going to pay WAEC fees of students, and Nigerians are backlashing him. Like, do you think really that's what we need at the moment? Is that an achievement? What's your response to this?
First and foremost, I'm not sure that it's well thought out. I'm not sure it's been costed. I'm not sure it's been tested. And I'm not sure that it comes within realms of fiscal discipline. You don't just roll out policies knee-jerk. You have to go through a process. So yes, it's a good thing to support education, because one of the things that allows nations to leapfrog in terms of development is education. But it has to be done in a concerted way. It has to be holistic. And as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't even got the nomination yet. So I think all he's trying to do is trying to distinguish himself, and he's entitled to distinguish himself. Let's have the battle of ideas. Each put his own ideas forward. I will ask other people who are interested to also begin to put their ideas forward, and for us to begin to at least constructively deconstruct some of the ideas that are being put forward.
Doctor,
yes.
Isn't it better to have somebody from the inside who has access to figures, facts, and the entire statistics, to make claims and all that, and have a projection, instead of somebody coming in freshly who doesn't have an idea of how things run? That's why we have a lot of government opposition from the opposition boasting that they will do this and they will build bridges and do that, and when they get there, they realize that the reality on ground won't afford those manifesto or those projects they claim or they intended to have on ground.
Yeah. Well, if you go with that premise, that means nobody from opposition will ever be able to get into power. That means Buhari would never have been able to win. That means outsiders would, even outsiders like Obama, would never have been able to come in. I think what the opposition should do, anybody who is coming from outside should be able to do, is commission people. Be able to commission people to give you reports on the problems of Nigeria, on an analysis. Even if you contest for president, you can't have all the solutions. But what you would do is be able to tap people to give you ideas that make sense. But a lot of times, I think these people make policies on the hoof. Policies that they bear no relationship to what Nigeria is going through. I think the number one priority of Nigeria today is how do we deal with our deficit, our annual deficit, and our debt crisis, which we are. Because basically we have to find about 7 billion, 5 to 7 billion this year. Sorry, isn't billion? Yeah, billion in terms of dollars. From that point of view, to finance our budget, which we don't have. So we do have a problem. From that point of view, and that's what we should be addressing. How do we address the deficit? How do we address the debt crisis? How do we address our current expenditure? Because if we don't address these things that I've mentioned, then there'll be no money to do anything. Absolutely no money. You can't continue to live on borrowed money and on borrowed time.
Do you think, sir, that this gimmick, some might call it a gimmick from the former governor of Lagos, is something that Nigerians will fall for? Because we've had, a lot of, politicians come our way, offer, all of this, quite interesting, how do you say now, just offers that they tell the people, hey, you're going to get this from me, you're going to get all of that. Do you think it's a gimmick that Nigerians are going to fall for in the coming elections?
Yes, let me just correct myself. It should have been trillions, not billions, when I was talking about the deficit we were talking about.
Okay.
As to gimmicks and so on and so forth, I'm not sure that when Tinubu put it forward, it was put forward as a gimmick. Some would say it was put more as a desperate measure. Are people going to fall for it? I think people are seeing through his candidacy to a certain extent. People are asking the fundamental questions. Tell us your age. Tell us your antecedents. Tell us your origin. Tell us who you are. Tell us the source of your wealth. I think people are getting to ask those questions. And I'm not sure those questions will go away. I don't think paying for people's heck, you understand, the promise to do it is going to dismiss that in the minds of people. So he also has to deal with that identity and credibility question. It may well have worked in Lagos, but he's not contesting for the governorship of Lagos now. He's contesting for the presidency of Nigeria.
So you think
what
the Lagos
the
formula won't work in Nigeria holistically?
I don't think so. First and foremost, Lagos is almost homogeneous, except for the fact that Lagos is split between the Yorubas and to a certain extent, have a significant minority of the southeastern people there. But apart from that, Lagos' demographic is completely different from Nigeria. Nigeria is more discerning. There are more geopolitical issues at stake. And of course, there are other competitors, substantial competitors that he has to contend with. There's a political arithmetic that he has to key into. And if he doesn't key into that political arithmetic, some people will say he will be toast.
All right. From the Guardian newspaper, we have this headline, and I'm going to take the riders before you respond. Nigeria quotes double-digit deficit financing amid fiscal indiscipline. Federal government acknowledges concern, hopes to improve revenue generation. Lawan says government will keep borrowing to fund development until revenue rises. Scale downsize of government, cost of governance, says Yusuf. Now, we have this riders to that headline. Somebody should think outside the box to rescue Nigeria.
Yes. First and foremost, Lawan, I'm sorry to say, and I will say, Lawan doesn't know what he's talking about when he says we keep on borrowing to fund development. We are not borrowing to fund development. A lot of times we are borrowing to fund recurrent expenditure. And recurrent expenditure means salaries. Recurrent expenditure means emoluments. That's the problem. We are also undertaxed. So we're not even taxed enough. I keep on talking about this substantial, significant road tax and how much that can bring in, not from the poor like people like me and you, but from the mega rich who have luxury cars, armor-plated cars, and so on and so forth. But you see, in terms of taxation, we're not being imaginative. So I agree with you that we have to think outside the box. We're not doing that. We keep on funding a full-fledged National Assembly with humongous allowances, full-time. You understand? They spend 60 days, or how many days do they spend this time around? And yet we give them full salaries. And so many special advisors, so many extra codes from the members of the executive. And except we cut the cost of our governance substantially, you understand, apart from finding new sources of revenue, because oil will only give us about 5 trillion and our budget is about 13 trillion. So of course we need to find substantially, more in that area. In fact, oil doesn't even give us 5 trillion. It's the other things, total revenue generation is 5 trillion. So we are really in deep dodo. And I don't think the government, you understand, realizes it. I don't think the finance minister shows any indication that we have a crisis in terms of our budget financing and in terms of our public financing.
Okay, sir. I wanted to get your take on the cost of governance. What would it take to actually, get that right? It's a conversation that has been going on for a while. We've been talking about this for years and years. What's it going to take to get issue of cost of governance right? Is it legislation? What legislation was being put in place for that to be resolved?
Well, even legislation is not helping us because there's a legislation on our budget which ensures that in terms of budgeting we get it right. But that has been ignored. I think the fundamental issue is what are we doing with the Orosoye report? There's a report called the Orosoye report, which merged a lot of parastatals, which merged a lot of quangos in the government, but the government has done nothing about it. The other issue is that the salaries of the National Assembly, we cannot afford it. You understand? I think legislation should be brought to make our National Assembly part-time. The other issue, too, is that the federal government that does so much, really, the Constitution should be organized in such a way that most of the responsibility goes to the state and let the state show that the responsibility so that the federal government is spending less. The federal government spends so much money, and yet the responsibilities are really not what should be in the federation. But I think cutting down special advisors, cutting down the expenses of National Assembly, making National Assembly unicameral, which means you only have one chamber, making it part-time, and of course, ensuring, you understand, that we only spend what we're able to generate. Of course, that's going to bring a crisis of some sort because a lot of people will be laid off, but we have to find ways, you understand, to finance our budget outside raising more debt.
Dr. Jadokun, we keep saying all those things, like having a unicameral legislation and all that. Who is going to start all this procedure? It's not going to be the presidency. is going to be the National Assembly. And the National Assembly, we all know, we want to legislate against itself.
Oh, well, then I think that what should happen in this election should be that people should contest this election based on the manifesto, you understand, to look at the whole situation and redress it as members of the National Assembly. I agree with you that the National Assembly members would be so resistant, but also there's no indication that there's a political will. You know, if the federal government had gone, especially during this COVID crisis, and announced that Nigeria is broke, we have no money, you understand, we have to cut this, we have to cut that, we have to cut that. But the National Assembly will take a cue. But the Federal Minister of Finance, or what do we call her, you understand, the various ministers are not even alerting Nigerians to the fact that there's a crisis issue. I think the reason why it's the same old is because nobody is telling Nigerians that we have a debt crisis and that we have a problem. I know you will say that, oh, nobody needs to tell us, it's obvious, but I think the federal government needs to take actions. If you remember, Labour government, when the Labour government, when Conservative took over from them and there was a debt crisis, they started a mantra where all in it together, and they started cutting all things, cutting even as well as biscuits and coffee during meetings. And everybody had to take a cue. But this federal government is business as usual. If you look at our budget processes, we are duplicating budgets. We are feeding the president in the Aso Rock. We are feeding the vice president. Those are things we shouldn't be doing because we can't afford it. You cut your coat according to your size. So I think the cue also has to come from the federal government, and it has to come from the president.
All right, so we understand that the state high court in Umuahia, Niger Southeast, has recommended a political solution to the Biafra agitation. We're taking a look at that after this breather. To stay with us.
Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ nípasẹ̀ ìròyìn BBC ní Yorùbá. Nítorí kí o tó lè tayọ, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́. Ní ìmísí pẹ̀lú àwọn oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn láti ibi àti káàkiri àgbáyé. Nígbà tí o bá ní ìmọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń lọ ní àgbáyé, o lè ṣe ohunkóhun. Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ. Wá BBC News Yorùbá kàn.
Here is a list of excuses that will no longer be accepted.
Otajigbe, I beg, give me your hotspot. I want my data, but this one too much.
Please, could you put your Wi-Fi on? I'm out of data and the recharge card seller has closed.
Oh, I would have recharged though, but I can't find my wallet.
Please, I've got cramps and I can't get up. Can you share your hotspots?
Oh no! Don't know where my internet token is and I need to quickly buy data. Please, could you share your hotspot till I find it?
Hey, Jumbo, I will buy data, but that recharge card seller need to ever get change. How good one?
Now there's really no excuse to ever be out of data with Glow Borrow Me Data. Dial *321# to borrow data now and pay later.
I beg, I will share your hotspot. This rain bad. Make thunder no go fireman.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Uncle Dentist, what be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Shey they use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Now, hole for teeth they cause most tooth pain will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate. Because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Ọjọ́ ìdùnnú nílé ìwé máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú oúnjẹ òwúrọ̀ àti mílíkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456 tó ní àlékún DHA èyí tó ń ṣàtìlẹ́yìn fún ìdàgbàsókè ọpọlọ tó jí pépé.
Dàgbà kó lágbára kó sì jáfáfá pẹ̀lú mílíkì ìdàgbàsókè PIC 456 lójoojúmọ́.
Africa's greatest football tournament is here. Watch all 52 AFCON games live in perfect picture quality on DSTV with expert analysis. What's more, with the DSTV app, you can experience every moment at home or on the go from the 9th of January to the 6th of February 2022. Get an HD decoder, dish, and 1 month DSTV compact subscription for only 13,900 naira and come alive to the Total Africa Cup of Nations 2021, live and in HD on Supersport, your world of champions.
Every kid is amazing at something. Give them amazing day. Amazing day, instant cereal. Give them amazing day. Same calcium as a glass of milk. For healthy bones and teeth.
Amazing Day instant cereal. See, they're amazing.
All right, you're welcome back. It's 32 FM 94.9, and we're looking at the fourth floor Cocoa House building, Dubai, Baton. And we're live on YouTube this morning, 32 FM 949 Ibadan.
Out of the Premium Times newspaper this morning, Nnamdi Kanu rights violated by Nigerian government court rules. Now, the court, however, refused to nullify the ongoing trial of Kanu for alleged terrorism, saying it lacked jurisdiction. Now, State High Court in Umuahia, Nigeria Southeast, has ruled that the Nigerian government violated the fundamental human rights of the detained IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, when the military invaded his home in Abia State in September 2019. The court handed down the ruling Wednesday in a fundamental human rights suit filed by Mr. Kanu through his lawyer, Aloy Ejimako. The court said the invasion was a violation of Mr. Kanu's right to life, dignity of his human person, his personal liberty, and his privacy. The court, which rejected the government's objection to the suit, said the government should pay 1 billion naira as damages to the IPOB leader and publicly apologized to him. The court, however, refused to nullify the ongoing trial of Mr. Kanu for alleged terrorism, saying it lacked jurisdiction over the matter. Mr. Ejimako nevertheless said the ruling would have an impact on Mr. Kanu's criminal trial.
Dr. Edokun, we still have you on phone.
Yes, I'm there. Yes, I'm just following it with rapt attention.
Okay, so let's have your thoughts on this particular one. Of course, the court saying that it's a political solution that would resolve this whole agitation. Talking about the Biafra agitation now, that was one of the recommendations they made right there. What do you think of that?
Well, first and foremost, it's a court of law. It's not a legislative house. So the court really should restrict itself, to legal matters. Yes, they can offer opinions, but those opinions have no weight, really. That's just their view. That's just their opinion. It cannot. Their job really is to interpret the law, from that point of view. So that's outside their realm. But having said that, I think it's significant. The decision that was made is significant because one of the reasons why Kanu claimed to have jumped bail was because his life was under threat. So I guess that court judgment could be used as a basis to justify that claim or to justify that defense. But other than that, it's got a load of money from that, you understand. It's been established that the government violated the rule of law and violated its fundamental human rights. But I think the opinion, you understand, is just obiter, as is mentioned in legal circles. It's significant that they said that, but it really has no sway necessarily. Will it impact the whole process? I think it adds more pressure to the government. The government can ignore it, of course, but it adds more pressure on them to pursue a political settlement as well as the judicial process at the same time.
We understand that Kanu himself said that the court hearing and the charges by the federal government are not worth defending. What do you think of that? He said basically that the federal government has no case, against him. What are your thoughts?
Well, when you have a criminal trial, there are two ways you can handle this. You can invite the prosecutor, you understand, to present his case, or you can go and say, well, after that, there is no case, and therefore you're not going to defend yourself because they've not risen to the substantial level that they should rise to. I mean, in a criminal trial, you must prove your case beyond any reasonable doubt. We're not talking about a preponderance of evidence, but beyond any reasonable doubt. And I think if you're unable, because every crime has an element, and if you're unable to establish the element, then it's right for the accuser to say, you understand, that I have no case to answer. In other words, the elements of the crime have not been established. Therefore, there's nothing for me to say. So why should I criminate myself when you yourself have not done your job? So I think the onus on the federal government is to establish the elements of those crimes, provide the evidence associated with it, and if they've been unable to do that, I don't see why Kanu or anybody, in fact, should come and offer anything in rebuttal, because there's nothing to rebut.
All right, just before we open the phone lines this morning, I want your response quickly to the showcase of the Rise Pyramid which happened actually. It was commissioned, I think, yesterday by Mr. President. Now, Nigerians are saying we can't even get the rice, and the price of rice has not changed. But the CBN needs to actually showcase what they have spent money on. But Nigerians are not taking it easy because they want food on their table immediately.
Well, the problem is that the federal government is saying that INT'L has been a success and they're making pyramids. You have to be aware that these pyramids, basically, it doesn't necessarily mean they're all rice. There is some wooden structure, skeletal structure, which supports this rice.
Really, Dr.
Yes. Yes. So the rice may not even be as much as being prostituted on the media. But I think the key thing, you understand, is if the CBN is in a success in rice, it must be reflected on the prices. And if it's not reflected on the prices, then, as you said, it's just for show. And if it's just for show, whose benefit is it for? It's certainly not for my benefit or for your benefit. It's only for their benefit to boost their egos. So they must find a way to ensure that this actually crashes the price of rice. If it doesn't, then we're just really wasting our time here and there. And they spent almost $1 trillion. That's what they spent. $1 trillion. And we are still having rice at exorbitant prices, according to what people are saying. I don't know.
All right, this is 21st century digital age. Do we still need pyramids of rice or of anything to showcase what we have? Is any other country showcasing whatever they have in excess, pyramids and all that?
Well, I guess they are taking it from the textbook, textbook of history, when they used to have the pyramids. I mean, Mr. Daly, that was before your time in Kano. You understand? In the 70s, the early 70s. But as you said, we're not in the early 70s anymore. We're not in the 80s. We don't need. In fact, my worry about this rice is the mold, the rain, and the fact that this rice may all get, you understand, degraded. You know, I think it's just our way of doing things. We like showing off without any substance. I think we don't need the evidence that price of rice has crashed or that it's rice is what it costs in the market, and that's what we should be emphasizing. Not all these making pyramids or making houses of rice or whatever. It makes no sense to me. It may make sense to them, but certainly makes little sense to me.
All right, we have our phone lines buzzing right now. Before we take the phone calls, quickly, let's take our next break on the show this morning.
Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ nípasẹ̀ ìròyìn BBC ní Yorùbá. Nítorí kí o tó lè tayọ, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́. Ní ìmísí pẹ̀lú àwọn oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn láti ibi àti káàkiri àgbáyé. Nígbà tí o bá ní ìmọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń lọ ní àgbáyé, o lè ṣe ohunkóhun. Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ. Wá BBC News Yorùbá kàn.
I'm living the life cause I get easy. Yes. Kọ́ńbù ẹ̀kú àlejò emúgbòǹgbò ọ̀nà ẹ̀kú àlejò ẹsẹ̀. Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé ẹ̀kú àmójúbà Tizeti Network Limited pẹ̀lú Tizeti ìlò omi òjò lẹ́ẹ̀ máa lo ayélujára íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ní yàwàlù torí pé gbajúgbajà ní iléeṣẹ́ Tizeti Network Limited nídìí ìpèsè ayélujára lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà fún iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá àtolókòwò kéékèèké lábẹ́ àbúradà Tizeti ẹ lè browse kẹ́ stream kẹ́sì tún gbá géèmù bó ṣe wù yín láì níkọ̀sẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìlànà ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́mùkú data ká má wàá làágùn jìnnà àjẹpọ́nu láìfà ń lọ lọ́wọ́ fún gbogbo olùgbé Ìbàdàn 2,222 naira péré lẹ́sàn dípò 59,500 naira tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ san fún installation kẹ́sì gbádùn internet nínú ilé yín fódìdí oṣù kan gbáko kèé máa ṣeré ìwọ ni kó o má sọ̀fànù ẹ kàn sí wifi.com.ng/oyo ẹ sì lè pe 09087493040 tàbí kẹ́ ẹ tẹ àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sí internet@wifi.com.ng 22/02/2022 nìfàyí máa wá sópin o ayélujára ní yàwàlù Ọ̀yọ́ ló wà.
Every kid is amazing at something. Give them amazing day. Amazing day instant cereal. Give them amazing day. Same calcium as a glass of milk. For healthy bones and teeth. Excellent source of protein. For daily growth and strength. Calcium, protein, vitamin A, dietary fiber.
Golden Penny Amazing Day Instant Cereal. Feed their amazing.
When
Some people go just promise you berekete, but they go only fit give you bear. Some no go fit do past bere. If them too try safe, some fit struggle give you bereke. But you see glow, they no go just give you berekete. They go even give you berekete plus join safe.
Yes, so when new and existing Glow users enter Glow Bracket Plus Plus, they will begin enjoy 100 Naira MB bonus data on top every first recharge of the month, another 60 MB bonus on top every other recharge of the month, and another 400% call time bonus. And if you be new Glow subscriber encore, now 1,000 Naira bonus credits, then go first take knock you welcome on top all the recharge them. This one pass all four. Knock four. This one now Bracket Plus Plus. Just dial *777# or activate new Glow SIM. Make yourself fit get joy on top your unlimited value. Waiting for Glow Berekete Plus Plus. Glow, joy unlimited.
Ìyá Ṣadé, ṣé o sì tí mo wá ń pè látòórọ̀ tó wá dá mi lóhùn? Èmi ló dé.
Bàbá Wálé, ẹ má bínú sí mi. Bóyá gan ni mo mọ̀ pé ti súnmọ́ tòsí ọ̀dọ̀ mi.
Kí wá ló dé gan? Láhùn mi.
Ẹ wo, ọ̀rọ̀ lórí àwọn èrè oko mi ni. Kódà ó ti sú mi kọjá àlàyé. Mi ti ẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ yìí gan mọ́.
Kò le tó yẹn. Ṣé o ti gbọ́ nípa Modesty Farm Nigeria ni? Ilé-iṣẹ́ ohun ọ̀gbìn ẹ̀gẹ́ àtàgbàdo. Wọ́n ń bá ní dáko oroko ṣọ̀gbìn tí yóò mú èrè ńlá fún ọ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Kò tán síbẹ̀ o, ilẹ̀ oko ẹ̀gẹ́ àtàgbàdo wọn làwọn darandaran kì í súnmọ́ tòsí rẹ̀ rárá o. Ó sì fi ni lọ́kàn balẹ̀ gbáà.
Ọlágbẹ̀ ni ò débi ó pa ní ẹgbẹ́ iṣu ẹgbẹ́ gbẹdọ̀.
Kàn sí ilé-iṣẹ́ Modesty Farm Nigeria lónìí ní Ladlab Complex, Shell Bus Stop, Ológun Ẹrú, Ìbàdàn. Tàbí kí o yára pè wọ́n báyìí lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 0703 704 3168.
Modesty Farm Nigeria, orí yín wà ń bẹ̀ o.
It's great to have you back with us. You're listening to the Break of Dawn newspaper review right here on 32 FM 94.9. Let's open the phone lines now. 0705 5000 949, 080 97000 949. Again, 080 97000 949, 070 5000 949. Let's have your thoughts, comments, contributions. Of course, we're talking about the rice pyramids as recently unveiled by Mr. President, and of course we're getting reactions from Doctor as well. Let's have your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I'm not doing this one. I will never be what of this one. But the other presidential candidates give us their own details. What is me looking to you? We are started. We have the right to do it. We have the presidential candidates give us their details so that we can write constructively about the right to the man. The right, the bad is $1 million. The doctor is not in Nigeria. I said they are giving things in the answer. We should not present the government blindly. When you don't have facts and figures, have a nice time.
All right, Dr. Ojedokun, you heard that.
Yeah, it was saying something about I had not criticized the government.
Because it was trying to puncture your claim that there were some wooden substances in some of the bags.
Scaffolds and what have you.
Oh yes, we've seen that. We read newspapers, we follow Twitter and so on and so forth. It's a wooden structure to support those rice.
Oh, you're talking about the base of the pyramid, right?
Scaffolds, I believe they're called. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have to be supported, and from that point of view. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a mirage. The rice may not be as much as it's being, claimed. Even if it were, the proof is in the pudding. As it crashed the price of rice, the bag of rice. That's more important than pyramids or showcasing. That's the point, and I think it's missing the point. The point is rice cheaper? Is it affordable? That is the point. Even if that was full of rice. Where I see it, is it at the homes? And that's the question.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Christopher. Thank you.
Good morning.
My own take this one has to do with Kano's rights established by the federal government. Actually, the court lacks the jurisdiction to stop the present trial issued by Nnamdi Kanu. Because no judge is allowed by our law to accept his jurisdiction or to confirm himself the jurisdiction not confirmed of him and not. The verdict of the court is okay. However, no man is to be concluded by the first judgment But that if he apprehends himself to be at least, he has another country where he can go for either on leave. Then, so let's see if the federal government will accept the verdict to appeal against the judgment.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Hello, good morning. This is John Olarawaju from Agbo. So, if anybody is talking about, can you hear me?
Very well, I can hear you.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you. If anybody is talking about the promise that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu he made yesterday about the WAEC to fail, I think Nigeria is right, and Nigeria needs to wake up now, not to be the way they did in 2015. So every candidate or every aspirant that are coming out to become any position in Nigeria has to be questioned this time around based on the promises that they will be rolling out to us. That's how they did in 2015. They promised heaven and hell. They will pay this, they will do that, they will do that, they will not use. There is nothing like subsidy. They are now coming on the subsidy now. Easy on the subsidy. Seriously, I everybody now promising heaven and hell, whatever. We have every right to question that person very well, to even criticize him very well. Thank you, good morning.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
The numbers to call 0705 5949 0809 7949. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
This is okay.
Okay.
Well, the rice pyramid, or maybe we should say, we see pyramid or triangular pyramid, whatever. They have come. I don't know if I believe them. They have not been sincere with us. So why will I believe? They said one, it's a million. Somebody just said Dr. Didoku is outside. This world is, the whole world now is like a globe. It's easy to access and get and know anything anytime. So I don't think it's actually right. Please, I don't know. We should not be fooled again. $1 to €1. Now they have come. YX fee. Anybody that comes, please, let's query them. Let's ask them. And probably we'll have a way to know if what they will do it or not. Good morning.
All right, thank you, okay, for calling. Hello. Hello.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Alaji.
Morning, sir.
Alaja from Coca-Cola. I want to speak on the statement by the Senate President that they've been going for development. And I think this government is cannot do away with propaganda and lies. Because from inception, they've been doing this, and we warn them, we advise them that the propaganda you use to come into power cannot sustain you in power unless you change to face the reality of governance. And I don't think they are ready to change. And the issue of rice peddling is coming. The issue of we are borrowing for development is coming. When we see that there is no development at all, they should bring down their scorecards in the area of education, health, economy, and security. And not all see if indeed they are borrowing for development. Even infrastructure, how much have been borrowed, how much have been generated, how much have been expended. And we should compare what is on ground, the money that has been expended, to know if indeed it's commensurate with each other. Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is from Baga. Yeah, this is the reason why most times I always against doctor. How can somebody say the pyramid of the rice is full of sawdust or stones while you are in UK? I expected him to criticize like a doctor. That is why I prefer Austin. Good morning.
Doctor, that's a blow below the belt.
Well, first and foremost, I'm just temporarily in the UK. I'm also in Nigeria, so I think that's without foundation. Secondly, I never mentioned sawdust. I said wooden bases. It's been shown before, it's all over the place, that the wooden bases are used to support and give an impression that the rice is much more. And of course, this is opinion. It can prefer anybody. You understand? It's entitled to that. Different styles, different positions. We're all entitled to our views and our opinions. So I thank you very much.
All right, we're talking about the units of those bags of rice. It's being estimated at 1 million bags, right?
Yes, 1 million bags. But what impact does it have? Are we exporting them, or is it crashing the price of rice? You know, is it affordable to the people? And I think the problem is that when you get all these figures and people are not really experiencing it in their daily lives, then it remains what people call propaganda. So we're not saying rice doesn't exist. We're saying that the impact is not being felt by people.
All right.
Taking some message off of YouTube this morning. Omotolani Abiola Omobasharu says, good morning to you, Dede Kenny and Dr. Ojeduko. It's another beautiful Thursday morning. God bless you and have a nice day. Honestly, Bola Tinubu may have good intentions for Nigerians, but the bad structure will never allow him to perform very well. It's even better to restructure the country first before having election. Thanks, she says, or he says. Right there. What do you think of that, Doctor?
Are we likely to have the candidate coming on the on board, promising us restructuring?
Well, we hope so. So far, nobody has explicitly mentioned it, but I think it's implied. And I think the election, of course, the lines are going to be drawn because there's some people saying, especially from the southeast and the southwest, that they will only support candidates that actively support restructuring. So I think, yes, there will actually be some people that will come forward and say restructuring is their goal. But so far, the mainstream candidates like Tinubu and who else is mainstream at the moment? Only Tinubu really, and all this Umai. I've not really mentioned anything about restructuring. So I think it's early in the day. I think later on we're going to get more people going on about this restructuring mantra.
Just before we let you go, Dr. Dedo, because time is no longer a friend, do you think Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is likely to run?
Certainly people around him are pushing for him to go. There is propaganda around him. There's a groundswell of people saying that he should go. He's certainly eminently qualified. He's proven before that he can do the job when he was acting as president. I think it will be a disservice to this nation if he doesn't go contest. Well, he may not win, but I think he's an alternative that has to be considered. He has somebody, he has credit, he has credibility, he has a CV. We know his antecedents. You understand? He's an intellectual. He's a giant in some respect. So I think he should contest. Doesn't mean that I will necessarily support him, but I think he's entitled, and he should throw his ass into the wing and let people decide.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for being part of the show today. We'll see you soon, later, maybe on the subsequent editions.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, my name is Delia Adeoju. Thank you for your time with us on the program, Break It Down Newspaper Review.
My name is Kenny Doritilu. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow for another edition. To stay with us.